Hello, hello, hello. So today is day 18 of the 21 days to rewiring your brain. And this came up yesterday as well, because we're just kind of talking about clients and knowing your clients. And it's that whole concept. And I've done a video on this before a long time ago, but there's always something new to say about it. Charge what you're worth. So the myth of charging what you're worth, I had that preached to me so much when I first started in my tapping business. Like, you got to charge what you're worth. And my pricing would go shift in increments. I just couldn't go out there personally. And, you could say it's a block or whatever, or resistance, but I didn't want to exclude people. And but the concept of charging what you're worth, there's something to me really off about that. It's more like charging what feels right to you to charge, charging what feels good to you. Charge whatever you feel good about charging. Like, that you're not going to get frustrated with the client because I gave them a break and now they're a pain in my butt and this and that. There's a lot to be said for, oh, that's so funny. Why charging what you're worth is a bad idea. I just saw that on here. I'll have to read that article, but it is this thing about, like, if I, as if our worth is tied to what we charge someone. Like, to me, that's absolutely insane to go, oh, I value myself more if I charge more. Now, you might have information that comes to you, call it blocks, whatever, things that come up where you're self-protecting because it doesn't feel safe to charge more and all that. And that's all great stuff to tap through. It is. Because as soon as you start going out there and putting your shingle out and charging, you're very likely going to have to tap through, like, God, can I really charge that? But it's this idea that we get, it's an ego-based idea, like we have to charge what we're worth. And if we don't, then we don't value ourselves enough. And it's like, and stop wasting your time with, people that are going to pay you less. What if there's people that come on board and you really like them, but they do have limits? Like, I've had clients on disability and things like that. And it's like, when it's right, I'm happy to do something to work with someone in that way. But it's that concept when we get stuck in that, like, well, if I'm not charging this, then I must not think I'm worth it. That's, like, to me, it's just so product of our ego-based culture that's just telling us stuff like that. Yet, to me, it's like, charge what feels right, what makes you feel light, not heavy. Charge that. Charge what, like, I feel good about charging this. And if you're like, oh, I want to charge this, but I feel a little wonky about it, then you can tap through that. But as long as it feels light inside of you and you feel good and you can say it and you're, like, congruent with it and it feels like a win-win for you, that's what you're looking for. But to tie your value to it and your worth, to me, it's just insanity. Like, if I'm not charging $300 for 45 minutes, I must not value myself. I have paid so many different amounts. Probably the most I paid with a business coach when I broke down what I was paying was probably about $536 for 45 minutes. That's a lot. Would I go out and normally charge it? I was getting all kinds of other stuff with it. And only we can decide, hey, does that work for me? When you're a client, but as someone, to me, the key is, does it feel light to charge that? So let's tap. Even though I hear all this stuff about charging what I'm worth, and I kind of get stressed out about that, I choose to honor my truth right now. Even though you hear it all the time, charge what you're worth. And if I'm not charging more, I must not value myself. Even though charging what you're worth can throw me into massive comparison. Well, they're charging $1,000 for 45 minutes. And I'm not even close. they must value themselves more. Is that even true? I choose to honor my truth right now. Go to the eyebrow. Charge what you're worth. How do I figure that out? Is there a formula out there to help me know what charging my worth is? What if whatever I charge has less than 0 to do with my worth? What if it has to do with congruency? I'm congruent with charging this. It feels good to me. Doesn't matter what anyone else is charging. I feel good about this. It works for me. It's a win-win. And what if by seeking the win-win, I get a completely different energy? I don't get caught up in the trap of charging what I'm worth. Because is that really true? That if I value myself more, I charge more? What if I can start to unhook from this idea and find an entirely new way to see this that feels lighter and easier for me? So take a breath, because I've known people that charge $1,000 for 45 minutes or 30 minutes, and I've known them personally, and I could tell you what I see is not someone that's actually believes value myself so much. I've seen people who are like, no, I'm just congruent with that, and I've seen people to me that it's in my what I've witnessed is it's about the money for them, period. And they've bought into this idea. If I don't charge this, then I must not value myself. And it's like there's a level that any of us can get to, and depending on where, like if you want to eliminate your everyday person, then charge that. But I've never wanted to do that. I've never wanted to eliminate people that could really, really want and desire the help. But it's like, this is where I'm at with it. And I think if we come to it from what's the win-win, and it has to be a win for you too. It's not like, oh, I'm going to do whatever is right for this person and not myself. It's always seek the win-win. But this feels light. And to me, the key is when you feel the number, wow, it just feels light. It feels good to me. It doesn't mean that sometimes you're like, oh, that stresses me out a little bit to charge that. That's a tappable issue, and you can tap through that and then get congruent and feel good about it. But to just I was talking to a friend of mine and I a long time ago, but what is this about charge your worth? As if that makes us worth more. We think more about ourselves because of what we charge. It's insanity. So I hope you found this helpful, and see you back here tomorrow for day 19, and we're in the home stretch. That's it. Bye for now.